One of the things that happens when you're on a voyage in canoe is that you end up far out at sea, sometimes 1,000 miles from the nearest point of land, which if you think about it too much can be a little bit scary. But there is always a sense when you're out there that your ancestors are with you. I remember a time when I felt that they were literally cradling the canoes in their hands and carrying us from one point to another. I've always known about my Hawaiian ancestry. As long as I can remember from being a kid, in Hawaii, Hawaiian culture is all around us. And I knew I was Hawaiian because of my grandmother and my mother, and the more I knew about being Hawaiian, the more I wanted to know. Hokulea, our Polynesian voyaging canoe, made its first trip to Tahiti in 1976. And it was part of what we call our Hawaiian Renaissance. So Hokulea was a response to that. And the first trip was made to recreate one of the ancestral voyaging paths from Tahiti to Hawaii, or in reverse, right? Hawaii to Tahiti and back again. And I read about it in the National Geographic article in 1976, and I was 10 years old. And there was a photo spread that showed the canoe entering Papeete Harbor in Tahiti, and you couldn't even see the water because there were so many people crowded around the canoe. And I remember looking at that photo and thinking to myself, wow, the Hawaiians, we finally got to go home to Tahiti. And that made a huge impact on me. My mom says that at the time I told her, I'm going to do that someday. And she kind of said, oh yeah, okay. I got to work on the Hokulea actually through building another canoe called Hawaii Loa. That was the second canoe that we had built in Hawaii. And when Hawaii Loa went in the water and was ready for sea trials, I was asked if I was interested in sailing. And I was like, well, yeah, sure. In 1995, I was able to make my first trip on Hokulea from Hawaii to Tahiti. My first journey on Hokulea really opened the doors to further journeys that have taken me throughout the Pacific to many, many islands that I never thought I would see. And recently in June, I got to visit some of our own Hawaiian islands, part of the Papahanaumokuakea National Marine Monument. Being on the canoes and voyaging challenged me to look more deeply at my culture, but also to look more deeply at the science around the ocean, because in Hawaii, our ocean is our life, and climate change and what happening to the ocean is of primary importance to people who live on islands. But I've also brought this to my kids in class through curriculum I've developed over the last 10 years to challenge them to be explorers as well, to figure out how to live in a more sustainable world. So the ability to voyage on Hokulea and other canoes has been more than just exploration in terms of finding islands. It's been discovering the connections between oceanic peoples. It's been the discovery of my own heritage and who I am as a person, as well as a challenge to help the next generation think about the world they're in and how do they create a better place for themselves and their kids.